In this video, I'm going to show you 5 must-know tips to use Notion more effectively. Notion is one of the most powerful apps, but I always get asked how to use it more effectively. This is due to Notion's customization and it not sort of pushing you down to a certain area to use it in this way. It gives you the ultimate freedom, but sometimes that can be a problem. So let's get started with number 1. Number 1 is to use synced blocks as your menu. When you're using Notion itself, coming in and out of pages can be an absolute pain. If you have to go into your first page, then you have to come back out and you have to select your second page and do the same. It can be a little bit annoying when you have multiple things that you're wanting to do. But instead, we can use this cool feature using the synced blocks. So if I come in here to the 2024 planner, for example, you can see I've got the menu of items. Now, I have different areas within this page itself. I have the main goals I'm wanting to reach, the projects, the tasks, the key metrics, the daily habits, and more. So if I were using the normal way that we would do it, I would have to come into page 1, write everything I would need to know, and then come back out. But instead, with this method, what we can do is we can sync the blocks to every single page that we're using. Meaning that if I go into 2024 main goals that I have, I can look at everything that's going on for the main goals area, but also instantly go into projects if I want to. It means that I don't have to constantly go back and forth to the main menu and can use the synced block to my advantage. So how is it you actually do this? Well, if you come into the core, we can see the main databases are actually here. But the way that I've created the callout blocks themselves is to actually create its own page and then put all of the linked databases to that area in there. For example, if we go into the core and we look at the main goals, we can see this is the main database for what we're doing. However, if we come back out into the main goals page that I've created, we can see all of this is just linked databases to that main goal area with the history in group format and also in a gallery format. If you're wanting to add something to this block itself, what you would do is you would simply add a page. You could write it wherever you want. Let's just put 2024 main goals part 2. And from here, I can add this page directly into the callout block that I've made. Meaning if I go into tasks, I can then instantly go into the main goals part 2 that I've just created. How you copy this block to other areas is really simple too, where you would create a callout block itself, would then select the copy, the link to the block. You would come into the page you wanted to select it in, and then you could paste and sync, meaning you've now got this synced block that will change with everything that you're doing. From here, you can customize your page and make it whatever you want, but it also allows you to then go in and out of everything you need to do with the blink of an eye. You don't have to go in and out of pages, and it's so simple to use, but really, really effective. The second one is using buttons for quick links in your hub. If you're like me, you don't always want to go into the specific pages that you're doing, but there's quick and fast things that you can do just to get the action being taken. You have multiple databases and multiple things that are going on, but if you can do something a little bit quicker, it's always going to save you time over the long run. So let me show you how to do it. If we come back into our 2024 example, you'll see here that I have synced blocks for new projects, new objectives, new tasks, non-negotiables complete, and updating any key metrics. This means that if we come down to the bottom and we add a new habits for today, we can see that we've not done the habits 1, 2, and 3 that we need to complete. However, if I do manage to complete them for the day and I don't want to come down to check them off, or I don't want to go into the daily habits and see how I've got on with them, I can simply go into the main homepage with what I'm doing, select that I've completed the daily habits and I've crushed it, and we can come down here and show that they've all been checked off for today. These buttons can be used in multiple formats and in multiple ways, and it's such a fantastic and easy tool to use that allows you to customize how actions work. For example, if we come into the editing section of a new task, it shows that we're going to add a new task to 2024 as the template that we've created, and it's also going to be completed by now so that I can select when the date is, and it's going to open that page that I've just created. So if we go into the task, for example, we can see that there's nothing here just yet. I add a new task in, we can see the new task instantly appears. From here, I can select what this relates to. I can also select the project that it relates to and when I want it completed by. So I want it done by Friday. If I wanted to add the steps, I can also do that too. And it also means that all of that information is now visible to me purely through the click of a button. You can do this for multiple things with editing pages, showing confirmations, adding pages to databases, and allows you to easily flow through your processes if you're able to make these correctly. Like I've done before in the previous tip with the synced blocks, if I come into 2024 main goals, you'll see that the new objective is there too, as well as projects, where I can add a quick project if I'm wanting to. Number 3 is creating reminders using formulas. Date reminders are amazing as it allows you to update yourself on when things things need to be paid, when things need to be completed by, but there's a way you can take it a step further to also work with your databases. If we come into my content planner, you're going to be able to see this week's content that I've posted so far. But what you're also going to notice is there's a repurpose content area. Content creators repurpose their content all of the time. And this is something that you should be paying attention to if you're someone who wants to be reminded when you have to catch up with someone or when you're wanting to repurpose said content. So instead of just having the scheduling date of when you want to do it and it kind of going into the abyss, I've created a database, one for the content that's being posted, and two, a database for when content is to be repurposed. Now, how this is done is pretty simple. If you come into the repurposed content, you can see that I've created a formula that looks just like this, where if the date between now and the schedule date is greater than 60 days, it tells me to repurpose the content. Else, it will tell me to keep creating content. So what I mean by this is that if I'm to change the November 21st schedule all the way back to somewhere in July, it will now appear in the repurposed content because it's been above 60 days. This makes it so simple to be able to know when you have to repurpose something, or if it's someone you're speaking to and you need to catch up or follow up with them, you could lower the number of days that it was actually in that formula and allows you to see it without you having to do anything. This can be used in a lot of different ways, but it's one of the most effective tools that I've used to be able to remind me of things when I don't keep track of them the same way. Number 4 is to repeat templates to boost productivity. This is an absolute lifesaver for those who are not wanting to go in and out of templates that they've made and always add them in. If we come into the daily habits area of the 2024 planner, you'll see that there are habits that are consistently shown up in this area. However, one of the things that you don't want to always do is add the new ones in and try and move everything around with how it's actually working. So instead, what you can do with templates that you create is make them repeat themselves on a daily, weekly, monthly, or even yearly basis. If you come into the new area of your templates, you'll be able to see the templates that you have created for this. Now, obviously for the daily habits, I've created its own default template that looks a little bit like this, where you're going to be able to see it's completed by habit 2, 3, 4 in the read 5 pages to be able to actually complete it. However, if I want to repeat this every single day and keep track of it, there's a really simple way that you can do it. Coming back out to this new area of the template, if we go onto the drop down menu and click the 3 wee dots, we can see there's a repeat function where if you select this, you can tell it to repeat daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly, or having it off. If you choose daily, it allows you to repeat every certain number of days, when you want to start this by, and also what time you want this to happen every single day. It means that you don't always have to add everything that you're doing, but if something happens on a repeat or something's happening on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, then you can have this template duplicate itself so that you don't have to do it manually. And number 5 is don't sleep on numbers and graphs to be used in Notion. Notion isn't like Excel, and it doesn't try to be, but that doesn't mean you can't use it for formulas and things that you're doing to help you move forward. You can add in amazing graphs and data for everything that you're doing, from things like profit and loss to tracking your ads data and so much more. If you're wanting to track your conversions on leads, your cost per lead and all that sort of stuff, this can be done directly in Notion just using one external tool. I personally use Chartbrick and it doesn't cost too much per month to do. If you're wanting to take it more seriously and use Notion to its full capabilities, then you can have it for formulas, functions, databases, and graphs. There really is so much that you can do within Notion. It's just getting over that first initial hurdle of it being maybe a little bit too overwhelming. These 5 tips are going to help you use it way more effectively in a really simple manner. If you're wanting to take your goals more seriously, I've created a full planner that you can use in order to achieve your goals. Just click the link above, you can download the template and start crushing those goals.